What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another one of these videos. So if you're looking for a quick and dirty synopsis of the power of balance, any of that kind of stuff, this is not the video. I'm going to be breaking down what they said, and I'm going to take my time with this. So that being said, with this video that came out with Balance of Power, let's just say it was actually very good. I was very impressed. I would give this like a 9 out of 10 on the score. I was very, very impressed with these guys. The community Q&A was basically worthless, a dumpster fire of nothing. Basically, hey, maybe, we'll see, who knows, see you later, never again, peace out, thanks. That's all they did. Like, the community Q&A was trash, let's be honest. Softballs thrown at them. They couldn't even hit the softballs, let's be honest. So the Balance of Power thankfully brought it back around, and it legitimately struck home. These guys are actually playing the game. Let's just jump right into this shit. Overall balance of OPR, weapon balance is good. Team balance needs to be adjusted. They understand that. They will eventually create some sort of queue system. That's basically what they're getting at. They need to do some tweaks here and there. They need to get this thing situated. It's going to take some time. They did see the stompings and the good OPR matches that actually came close, like a 900 to 1,000, or even a 700 to 1,000 is a good game in my opinion. Arenas. Actually, let's stay on OPR. So OPR, they're saying the weapon balance generally is good. So that means fire staff, bows, assassin classes, bruisers, healers. They're saying in general, it's a good mix in OPR, which I do agree with. I OPR here and there, and I would say the balance is very, very nice. Arena, they're saying that the balance in general is good. Weapon balance, everything is being used, less musket, which makes sense because, it's a smaller arena. In the old arena and the new arena, it lends itself a little bit to musket, but not so much so. Also, BB and VG are also being used a lot less. BB has some bugs with it. Some of you know with the grenades. That's probably why it's not being used. VG probably just isn't being used to its fullest. But they're saying the two builds that kick ass right now: Fire Staff Ice Gauntlet, obviously, it's a great combo, and SNS Spear, which is my bread and butter, which I love. So, being used a bunch, great win rates of both those things. Not saying they can't be beaten, but they're saying they're seeing it used a lot, obviously, because of Cyclone. We'll hop into that a little later. Wars, Dave obviously missed this. I don't think he meant to, but let's be honest, he probably doesn't have any real numbers for us anyway, metrics. Stay tuned for a micro video. I guarantee you that dude is going to be popping out some videos here soon on war stats, war builds, you name it, he does shit for war. So that's the guy. Oh no, I'm getting bagged. Oh no, this is a very awkward position. Anyway, all right, so general balance, they will be giving players that little boost of HP. If anybody remember that little glitch, you're basically getting, oh, now he's banging to me. They were giving basically double HP from the Hale and Hardy glitch. I wouldn't call it a glitch. I would call it a accidental thing they did. But the Hale and Hardy bonus basically gave everybody a little extra HP. People in the PvP world in general, and even PvE, they loved it. So they're actually bringing that back, which is going to increase the TTK, time to kill, which is nice. So they're basically going to be spreading that across the board, which is nice. Also, a thing I just wanted to bring up with that, so with them giving you that bonus back, giving you a little more con, I'm kind of thinking that the 200 con that was once like the meta for most medium builds, 150 con might be the new meta. It might be the new 200 con is 150 right now. So we're going to see how that works out. I'm pretty excited for that. So, general balance, change number 2. 150 dex and 300 dex being swapped. So you're going to have 10 less stamina being swapped for the crit after dodge. So the crit after dodge is going to be at 150, and the 10 less stamina per dodge is going to be at 300 dex. Now, this is kind of a nerf to anybody using 150 dex for anything. I've seen fire staffs use 150 dex. I've seen ice gauntlets. I've seen blunderbuss. I've seen basically any build run 150 dex. And the only builds that really pump the 300 dex is usually bow users. Muskets here and there, you'll see some weird stuff. Some spear builds use 300 dex. But it's going to be a bit of a nerf to melee builds, I would say, and more of a boost to bows in general with that 300 dex buff being swapped. So we're going to see how that plays out. As a spear player, I'm actually okay with it because we had way too much stamina and shit. It was way too easy to get all my... I was getting 4 hops. Like, that's ridiculous in medium. So yeah, bows will have a little bit more of an advantage. Is it game breaking? No, it's a welcome change in general. I think a lot of spear players are gonna be running 300 decks now. We'll see. I gotta test it out, to see how it actually works out. Balance change number 3. Fortify buff, not counting towards the invigorated punishment. Clutch, that's really good. I thought that was a little insane, the fact that that included that invigorated punishment actually took into effect the fortify buff, so you're getting more damage when you were fortified, which is kind of ridiculous. So I'm glad they're pulling that back as well. This is also going to increase the TTK, which I'm totally okay with. Interested to see how Mikro takes this with his war situations. I don't really war anymore, so I don't really know the ins and outs of that. I'm backing out of that stuff. Let's jump into some actual weapon changes. SNS, which is so damn good. I love this weapon. They are finally changing the Achilles heel passive from a slow to a rend. So now instead of giving you a 10% slow, it's probably going to give you like a 5 or something percent rend. As an SNS spear player, it was way too easy to stick to people. Like I could literally just left click and just stay on them like glue, which is nice. But I'm glad they're changing it. It needs to be changed. It was just too easy. Beyond that, that might actually increase the SNS damage a little bit, but give other players the opportunity to outplay that stickiness. Also on top of that, they know the shield bash is not being affected by freedom. I think they knew that forever. It's just a really hard, complex code issue apparently that they're gonna have to work through. So eventually they're saying freedom will affect the shield bash attack. That's going to be a nice big change, because I can't stand it when people just say, hey, you're using a broken skill. I'm like, yeah, it is broken, but until they fix it, I'm going to use it because I love Sword and Shield. So it is what it is. I'm glad they're changing it. I'm very happy they're finally taking care of that. But they won't see that fix for that freedom shield bash thing until about season 3. They think it's going to be a little hard to fix before then. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm glad they are eventually changing it. It's good stuff. Now let's jump into the spear. So spear, Cyclone is getting a slight nerf. I say slight because it's still going to be OP as hell in my opinion. I love Cyclone, especially Leeching Cyclone. So Cyclone's getting a nerf. They're going to change the slow from 50% down to probably 30. He didn't say for sure, but more than likely it's going to be 30% slow, which is a good fix. I like that. The heal is also going to get dropped. Instead of being able to heal in a 360 degree off 12 people, they're probably going to drop it to, my guess is going to be 2 people. So, because if they drop it to 1, it's going to be almost a worthless perk. 2 people I think is pretty fair. Maybe even 3, we'll see. But I'm pretty sure they're going to land on 2 people that you're going to be able to use it on. So in general, it's a good fixer spear. Spear right now is a little OP, which is why, I love the spear in general. But it is, that weapon skill in general is very, very OP right now. Fire Staff, they said basically it's got good win rates, but it's not overpowered. I don't personally think it needs any changes. I mean, I've fought Fire Staff in OPR, arenas, open world. I can tell you right now, I've never had any issues, especially with people that run Flamethrower. I think it's adorable when they run Flamethrower. It's hilarious when people think they're going to win when they pop, like they put a pylon down, they do an ice shower wall, and then they Flamethrower. As a Sword and Shield player, you just hold your shield up and it does literally nothing. So I don't think Flamethrower is OP. I don't think Fire Staff's OP in general. You see a lot less kills from Fire Staff in general, so I think it's, if anything, it's a skill issue between people, not necessarily a weapon issue with Fire Staff. So take that as you will, maybe with a little grain of salt there, but I think it's fine. They're also saying bows are in a good place, which I actually agree with. The only thing they did mention, which I'm glad they figured this out, the elemental damage drop-off. There's no drop-off for elemental damage with bows. They're going to fix that. Again, this might not come till Season 3. They think it's going to be a little too risky to mess with it now. Complex code change, they said, but, I'm glad they actually figured it out. But generally speaking, bow is in a good place right now. It doesn't have infinite haste anymore. It has more AoE damage, and if anything, I think bow is actually better, because you can really fight clumps now with bow. If you got 2 people on you, I think bow works really, really good now. Jumping into blunderbuss, which is kind of hilarious. So people are using macros, obviously, to get the one-shots off that were way too easy. It made it like, so if you were to use the macro, you would always get the kill. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to get the kill, unless there was some crazy lag detected. But let's be honest, if you're using macros or VB, you're going to get that kill. I haven't seen a lot of people using it on Valhalla specifically, but I do know that people were using it in wars. I saw some people using it on stream in some OPRs, but like I said, it's such a minimal amount of people. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but I'm glad they are addressing it. Regardless, it's nice. Last but not least, I think for this is the detonate, which is, they called it a little too spiky, which is hilarious. That's a great term. So basically he's saying because it was compounding with empowering and crit damage, basically it was making the detonate way too good. Like you could Great Sword, Relentless Rush into somebody, automatically giving you that insta crit on the next hit, so you just have to Relentless Rush into somebody as your detonate is going, and then just make sure you don't hit anything else besides the detonate, and that would instantly crit, giving you some crazy numbers. So I'm glad they're finally changing that too. I didn't think that was a giant deal. They're just getting rid of the crit on the Heart Rune itself, so I don't think it's going to be a giant change. Instead of hitting like a 7k detonate, you're going to hit like a 5k detonate, or you know, whatever it is if you're using the brutal one. So it's just tuning it down slightly. I think it's a good way to, you know, take a look at it and not kill the rune, because obviously it's one of the best runes in the game. Maybe not the best. I still think Stone Form is probably the best, but for people trying to kill people, detonate's obviously way up there. Now, another thing they talked about was skill perk thresholds being reworked. Now this is freaking awesome. Very excited for this. This is going to give you more build variety. By skill perk thresholds, we can just go actually look into Game Hill real quick. So they're talking about these bad boys, these little points, right? So right now they're saying that they're basically moving around some of the skill point threshold like skills. So for instance, on strength, 25 stamina damage from melee weapon, light attacks. So they might just get rid of this completely. Obviously, I think that's probably going to stay. But any of the useless ones in here, which I don't know much about the other ones. Is there any like useless ones? I mean, some of them are pretty good. Maybe there's some really crappy ones, like maybe this one. Stamina regen 25% faster during startup of basic attacks. Maybe that's trash, and they want to get rid of it. They're basically reworking this whole system with the Season 3 patch, which is going to be amazing. I'm very excited for that. Now, they said the new levels of thresholds could be, could be anything. So it could be a decrease in the amount of points required to hit a threshold. So instead of being 50 points for each one, maybe it's 40. Because my guess is right now we have 6. They're going to add a 7th one is my guess. And maybe they'll make it every 40 points, or they'll add another one at 350. Which means either they're going to increase player level, or they're going to increase, like they're going to give you more points on our current gear score. Assuming gear score goes up to 650 or 700, that would give you enough points to distribute among all of these. So let's just assume, play devil's advocate, say they're going to leave it at 300 right here, and they're going to make everything 40 points. That's obviously not going to be the case. They're going to increase gear score, but regardless, that's going to be a nice build variation for a lot of builds. I think it's going to add some... The fact that they looked into this and they realized that some of these perks are worthless means that they're actually playing the game, which is a good sign. I don't know if it's Dave or whoever is on his PvP team for the balance of power, but I'm very happy with what they came back with. Like, you can tell they actually played this season so far, and they've seen the metrics, they've seen the data. I just wish they would share that with us. Last but not least, I guess, well, no, let's stay in the skill perk thresholds. The only thing I'm a little worried about with the skill perk thresholds is one-shot builds are probably going to get nerfed with this, which is probably a good thing because no one wants a one-shot build anymore anyway. Beyond that, I feel like back to the 300 dex and 150 dex, I think they're kind of killing some builds doing that, not being able to use the 150 dex perk anymore. On some builds is kind of going to ruin that. But I guess with the new threshold fixes, it's going to be a total rework, so I guess we're going to be seeing a lot more build variety regardless. So maybe I'm just saying, let's just say in general, there's going to be a lot more build variety in Season 3, which is going to be a good thing. Last but not least, fortified balance passes are coming. Now, this means, he basically said we're going to give fortifies a little boost across the board for the most part, which is going to once again increase time to kill, which I like. I'm okay with that. There's a lot more outplay available. It's a good thing. I don't like insta-burst kills. It's just not fun. So mostly they said they're pushing a fortifies. Now, my question is, will Squirming Vines be more valuable in the upcoming months? Only time will tell. Hint, hint. My guess is yes. So use that as your little token to make some money in the market, but I think Squirming Vines are going to go up in price. So basically that's it, guys. I mean, I guess hope you like this overview of what I thought was, you know, viable out of the video. I thought it was like a good, like I said, 90% out of 100. I think they did a great job in general. And this isn't hopium or copium. Legitimately, this is the best video they've ever done. You could tell they actually have been playing the game this season. Thank the Lord. Thank Jesus Christmas that they've been playing this game. So I hope you guys liked the video. Go check out Mikro's shit when it drops on War Stuff. I'm sure he's gonna have something available. And then check out, you know, Fivehead and all those guys. I'm sure they also did a video on this. But once again, I appreciate you all. Peace out.